well to win. Our margin's not big. And so I think for the most part, we've done that through the first 12 games. Today, we had a clunker, and you hope to have as few of those during an NBA season as possible, but inevitably you will have a couple. That doesn't make it any easier in the moment. That doesn't make it any easier as you're going through it and watching it, and just like, we just looked like we were in mud today. And credit them, they didn't. And I think that's the gist of it. We talked before the game about every night you're playing a team and what they're capable of and what they are when they're at their best. And when they're at their best and their physicality gets them layups early and they start making shots because they feel good about it. And again, credit them.
Mark Murphy.
Hi, Brad. Kemba certainly looked like he was very active today. How did you think he was? And also, he looked like he took a shot to his ribs. How was that?
So he told me afterwards he was fine, and he told me he wasn't lying, which is, he has a tendency to tell me everything's okay, thumbs up and all that stuff. But he said he's fine, but it knocked the wind out of him. And I thought, he, as you would have, anybody would have predicted with very limited practice time, there were, parts that he probably felt a little rusty. But as far as physically moving up and down the floor, all of those type of things, I thought he looked good.
Chris Ryan.
Hey, Brad, you talked before the game, obviously, about the margins for this team, and you mentioned it again there. In some ways, is a defeat like this helpful in kind of sending that reminder that you've been pushing on the guys as well, but what you have to do to be successful?
Well, I think every game, Chris, is information, right? So sometimes you win close, you lose close, you win big, you lose big. And, it's how well you can manage, how well you can do your best within what you do every day. And we weren't that today. We were not good. No excuses from our end. We got beat by a team that was better than us today. That's the beautiful part about basketball. You're good if you play good in that 48 minutes. That's it. It's all that matters in a given game.
Final question for Coach Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad, do you expect to get a couple of guys back before Wednesday? Is that the expectation that you'll start getting closer to normal?
I don't know the answer to that, Gary. That'll all be dependent on how the next few days go. Everybody's got their own different testing protocols they have to go through and the timeline that they have to be on. So I don't know what to expect for Wednesday night. We'll just play it by ear and go with the information we get every morning.
All right, we're going to wrap it up right there. Thanks, Coach.
In all my years on the sideline, I can never predict what Brad Stevens is going to be like post-game. That was some of my most fearful moments, waiting in the back hallway for Brad to talk to him post-game. And after a 30-point loss, as we welcome in Scal now, he was surprisingly upbeat. Scal, what do you make of this game?
So let me get this straight, Abby. You're saying all your life that the thing you fear the most is Brad Stevens in the back hallways?
You never know.
You need to do more,
Abby.
Abby.
I got to stay on my toes.
Mad Brad is gone.
I mean, it's Celtics post-game live presented by your New England Ford dealers. I am Abby Chin alongside Chris Forsberg. Still in a little bit of shock after the Celtics fall 105-75, a 30-point loss to the New York Knicks, who had dropped 5 straight. The Celtics win streak comes to an end. Chris, what did we just watch?
The Celtics effort tonight was about as obscene as anything on Carson Edwards' Twitter page yesterday. It was that bad.
You did not warn me you were going to bring that up. Oh, my gosh. Very not
They
safe
had
for
no
work.
energy, no effort. They got destroyed on the glass. They had, again, I thought this was the sort of performance we would have saw on Friday night against the Magic when they were coming off the long layoff and all that. But for whatever reason, whether they were starting to look past New York or they just got a little bit confident based on this recent winning streak, this was not their finest effort for sure.
How bad was it? Let's take a look inside the numbers. It's the veterans' perspective, and it's proudly partnered with VA New England Healthcare. If you're a veteran, call 844-VA-CARES and get the benefits you deserve. Those 75 points tie the Brad Stevens era for the lowest output under Brad. And then the corners just got uglier. I mean, we know the Celtics have been bad in third quarters, but 15 points. And overall, the Celtics 7 for 46 from 3. Chris, what stands out to you?
I mean, put an advisory label on that graphic before you put that up, people. Like, jeez. It was just bad. Like, they didn't make shots. They didn't get back on defense. They let the Knicks get wherever they wanted. And I don't know, like, we kept waiting for Marcus Smart to make a hustle play and sort of change the momentum, or for somebody to just light the fuse. The bench that had been so good was terrible. I don't even know, like, what we can focus on that was a positive. Unfortunately, you can chalk it up to just being one of those nights, but that was ugly. Ugly.
You're right. Even P. Rabbit couldn't come in and save this game.
Nothing to save
But there is some light at the end of the tunnel.
The game's over?
There is some darkness. There is some sun on these clouds, and that is Kemba Walker returned, making his season debut. And Chris, yes, he did look a little anxious to start, and there was a bit of a rib issue at the end, but in between, Kemba looked like Kemba.
Yeah, and I think this is the most encouraging thing. If you're going to focus on one thing, forget about the score, forget about the game. Kemba's so vital to what they're going to do moving forward. And even in his first game back after all missing this time, we saw a little bit of what Kemba can do. I mean, the pocket passes here, hitting Tristan Thompson for the dunk, getting the baseline cutter. I just thought he did a lot of nice things. It's clear he's going to take a lot of stress off this offense when they're playing to their potential. But when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are out there and you can have Kemba playing like this and creating, it's going to really take the offense to another level. For today, not so much. And like you said, the good thing was he took a really hard shot to the ribs from Nerlens Noel on a box out, but doesn't sound like it was that big of an issue. He was at his minutes limit anyway. So good thing that he walks away. Because if they had lost like that and Kemba got hurt in his first game back, Celtics fans would be pretty catatonic.
Do we chalk any of this up to Kemba coming back and guys trying to figure out how to adjust?
Are you playing the Celtics worse with Kemba Walker?
No, I am not. I
just
did not say that.
No,
this
because I'm sure that's going to be someone is going to say that in my Twitter mentions. I'm going to laugh because sure, look, someone coming back, is it a reintegration process? Did it affect the fact that they made 15.2% of their three-pointers tonight? No. Did it affect the fact that no one brought any energy? No. So I don't think this was on Kemba's return. I think this is more just, again, maybe they sat there and said, hey, Kemba's back. We don't have to, this is going to be easy. And then it wasn't.
It was not. It was not an easy watch. And I cannot wait to hear what Brad Stevens has to say about it.
He's not mad. He's disappointed.
Which is so much worse every time. That look in his eyes. Yes, Celtics fall by 30. We will continue to break it down. Don't go. We appreciate you, really.
Please don't leave us.
Mike and Scott will be here, too, when we come back.
Celtics Post Game Live is presented